now in today's session, I'll start with database programming. So before going to this database programming in Python, in this class, I explained the entire concept of databases. Okay, what is database and what will be there in database, and what is the use of this database, and how we can use these databases in Python. Okay, so let me explain all these uh, concepts in detail. So the main purpose of this database is nothing but, for example, database is nothing but simply the definition is collection of data. Okay, so database definition is nothing but simply collection of data. So in your day-to-day life, you may fill so many application forms. It may be a registration form, or it may be some other form. So you are going to fill your details, right? So let me show you some example so that you can understand what is this concept. For example, you have a form, you have a registration form. Okay, so this is a simple registration form. In this registration form, I'm going to take some details from the user. This is a registration form. In registration form, I'm going to take the details. Like for example, I'll ask what is the name and what is the mobile number, and what is the email ID, and what is the date of birth. Okay, and what is the address. And similarly, I can ask some more details like Aadhaar number. Okay, so I'm asking these details. For each and every field, there is a text box. For name, there is a text box. And for mobile number, there is a text box. And for email ID, we have a text box. So every user is going to enter the details in the respective text box. So email ID is going to be entered in this text box, and the date of birth is going to be entered here. Aadhaar number is going to be entered here. Address is going to be entered here, and date of birth is going to be entered here. So these are all the different text boxes, and at the end I have a button. Okay, and the button is, let's say I can click on this button. The button name is register. When the user is going to fill all these details, when the user is going to fill all these details, he will enter some name, mobile number, email ID, date of birth, address, Aadhaar number. So all of you may see in this type of form when, for example, you don't have any Gmail account. First, what you need to do, you need to sign up, or you need to create an account in Google. So once you created an account, then obviously we'll get a Gmail, right? That is what we can call it as sign up form or registration form. Sign up is nothing but creating a new account or registering with that particular website. So let's say I'm going to enter some details. Name is I'm going to give ABC, and mobile number I'm going to give something like 1234, and email ID I have some email ID ABC @ Gmail, and date of birth, I'm going to give ABC @ Gmail. And date of birth, I'm going to give ABC @ Gmail. And email ID, I have some email ID ABC @ Gmail. And email ID, I have some email ID, let's say ABC @ Gmail. And email ID, I have some email ID, let's say ABC @ Gmail. And email ID, I have some email ID, let's say ABC @ Gmail. And date of birth, let's say it is 1/1/99, and address like HYD, Aadhaar number, like 0123, some number. Okay, so now I given these details. Okay, once I given these details, I'm going to click on this button, register button. Okay, once I click on register button, once we clicked on register button, what will happen? So please, everyone, please answer in the chat box. Once you entered some details in this text boxes and clicked on submit button, what will happen? Please, everyone, please respond with your answers in the chat box. You have entered all the details like first name, date of birth, mobile number, email ID, and Aadhaar number. You entered all the details. After entered all the details, okay, registration successful, registered as a user. Okay, that is registration successful, registered as a user is the message you can see on the screen. But in background, what will happen? Registered successful or registration or registered as a user, okay, or sign up complete. You'll get different types of messages. But what is the meaning of that message? What happened after you entered some details and clicked on that button? What is happening? Anyone? Details saved in that platform at background. Okay, can you elaborate? Actually, the answer is almost correct, but details saved in that platform at background. Okay. Otherwise, I'll ask the same question in another way. Okay, I'll ask the same question in another way. So, like for example, assume that you are not having Gmail account. You are not having our details are submitted for the administrator. Yes. So details are submitted for the administrator is okay. Administrator. It's not a administrator, but okay. So anyway, uh, for example, you are not having Gmail account. Okay, then Google is going to give you some sign up page where you are going to enter your details like name, mobile number, email ID, and all the details. And once you entered all the details, you click on sign up page, a sign up button or register button. Okay, once you click on sign up button or register button, you, for example, you entered your name, email ID, your personal information you entered, right? Personal information means your name, email ID, mobile number, date of birth, your hobbies, address, pin code, your state, city, country, all the details you are given. And you click on register button. Then what will happen? What will happen? Because if you understand this, then you can understand the concept of database programming. This database programming is very, very important topic in any language. If you go to real time in industry, definitely everywhere you are going to use some database. Like we have different types of database, like Oracle. We can use SQL Server. We can use MySQL. Okay, there are different types of database technologies where we can work with in real time. In general, most the famous database we are going to use is Oracle. Okay, so maybe if you studied a DBMS subject, then maybe you heard about okay, Oracle or MySQL in your academics. So my question is, again, I'm going to repeat the question. You entered all the details in some registration form. You entered all your details and you clicked on the register button. Okay, similar to this. You given all the details in registration form and you clicked on this button, register button, then what will happen? That is the question. Only few students are responded, only 5 responses. Remaining students, please respond. Whether, okay, you can have some answer, right? In your mind, you may think something that may be correct also. Details saved on the server. Yes, that is yeah, that is a point actually. Details saved on server. Right. So actually saved in not server, we can say it's details saved on database. For example, what will happen if you are going to create your new Gmail? You don't have Gmail account. You are going to create your new Gmail account. So for that, what you need to do? You need to fill some information, your personal information. Google is going to ask your details, right? You are going to give your personal details. Once your personal details are entered and once you click on register button, entire details, whatever you are given, all the details will be stored in the database. Okay, all the details will be stored in database. For example, you want to update your mobile number in Aadhaar center. You want to update your mobile number in Aadhaar center, or you want to update your biometric in Aadhaar center. So what will happen? For example, you want to change your mobile number. So you go to Aadhaar center and you'll ask the technical person in Aadhaar center, I want to change my mobile number. Okay, then they will open the Aadhaar website and they will update your number and you will get a OTP. Once you are confirmed that OTP and your mobile number is going to be updated, right? So now tell me, what is the meaning of this updating mobile number or updating your fingerprints? What is the meaning of this? The details has been stored in the background database. Yes, the details are stored in the database, right? The details are going to be stored in the database. So which database? Which database? In our Aadhaar example, which database the details will be stored? The details will be stored in Aadhaar database. Okay. For example, you are applied for re-evaluation. You got some result. Okay, you got a result for your examination and you applied for re-evaluation. In re-evaluation, your marks are going to be changed. Initially, for example, you got, let's say for 100, you got 30 marks and you failed in that subject and you're having more confidence on that subject. Okay, that's why you went for re-evaluation. In re-evaluation, you got some 40 marks. So previous marks are 30, now it is changed to 40. So in new result, instead of 30, you are going to get 40. So this is nothing but what we can call it as updating the values. Okay, where the values are going to be updated. It's going to be updated in the database. Okay, so these all are different examples for different examples for databases. Okay, even you can change your password. Initially, you are created a simple password in Gmail or in Facebook. Later, you want to change your password. So, how you are going to change your password? That is also one type of update only, right? You are updating your password or you are changing your password. So these all are nothing but relating with the database. Every information, whatever you are giving in a website, the data will be stored in a database. The data will be stored in database. So whatever the information you are going to give in any web page, all the details will be stored in the database only. So that is what database programming is very, very important because everything we can change. So here, once we click on this register button, what will happen? The details will be saved or stored in database. Okay, so if you are going to create your Gmail account, then you are going to give your personal details to the Google, and Google is going to store all your details in the database. Tomorrow, for example, you want to change your password, or you want to change your mobile number, or you want to delete your Gmail account, okay, or you want to add some profile picture for your Gmail account. So all these are nothing but, we can say, the information we are giving from the particular website or from that particular web page is going to be stored permanently in your database. For example, in your Facebook, you may change your profile picture, or you may add some information about you. So these all are nothing but where these details are going to be stored. These details are going to be stored somewhere. That is what we can call it as a database. Database is nothing but it is the place where the data will be stored. For example, if you take any banking application, if you consider, then you are doing different types of transactions, like you are withdrawing some amount and you are depositing some amount, okay, and you are going to check your balance. All these are nothing but what? These all are nothing but permanently stored in the database. That is the reason why if you are going to ask some account statement from the bank, they are going to provide you the account statement. So what is the meaning of the account statement? It's going to show you all the transactions what you did. For example, you did some deposit, and you did some withdrawal, okay, and you got some interest on your amount. So all these are nothing but different types of transactions or different types of operations on your data. So in general, what type of operations we are going to perform in a database? In every database, we are going to perform different types of operations. Like what are the famous databases? I'll mention here. Famous database technologies are, okay, Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, and MySQL, and even Microsoft Access. These are the famous database technologies we are going to use in industry also. Tomorrow, if you are joined as a Java programmer, or if you joined as some PHP programmer, definitely you need to work with a database. Okay, because if you don't have any database, okay, then you are unable to retrieve the information. Simple example. So where you are saving your contacts in your mobile, you are saving your contacts in your mobile in some place, right? Maybe you can save it in phone storage, or maybe you can save it in SIM storage. So here SIM storage is a place where you can save your contacts. Our phone storage is a place where you can store or save your contacts. So here this is also nothing but a database only. If the information is stored in some place, the information is stored or saved in some place, then only we are going to access. If the info, for example, you are not saved some account details, you are not saved some contact details in your phone book. If the details are not there, then it is very difficult for you to retrieve. Okay, so that's why we are going to perform different types of operations. So what are the operations to be performed on any database operations to be performed on data. Okay, so I'll tell you one more simple definition for a database. Database is nothing but collection of data, or sometimes you may find this definition. Database is nothing but a collection of tables. Collection of tables. Okay, so how this database look like? I'll explain. For example, this is a database. Okay, so this database is, I can call it as a student database. Student database. Student database, right? The student database, what will be there? Student database consists of collection of tables. Let's say table, and I have another table, and I'll have some other tables, right? So these all are the different tables. That's why database is nothing but a collection of tables. So it is, I can call it as table 1. It is, I can call it as table 1. And this is table 2. Like that, I have n number of tables are there. In a database, I have n number of tables are there. Table 2, table 3, table 3, table 4, and so on. Okay, table 4 and so on. And what do you mean by table? Table is nothing but simply it's a collection of rows and columns. What a table consists of? Table consists of rows and columns, right? So it is consists of rows and columns. So it is having rows and columns. Let's say this table 1 is having some 4 columns and some rows. Similarly, table 2 is having some rows and columns. So this is the hierarchy. Actually, this is what I'm trying to explain is the hierarchy of the database. Because no one is going to access the database directly. Okay, so we must follow some hierarchy to access the database. So here database is nothing but a simply collection of data, or we can say collection of tables. And table is nothing but simply it is having rows and columns. And what is row? What is column? Row is nothing but I can call it as the other name for row is a record. And the other name for column is it's an attribute. So this is the architecture of your database. I'll write down the entire description so that you can understand. Okay, so this is a simple example. Database consists of collection of tables, and each and every table will have rows and columns. Let's say this table 1 is having 1, 2, 3, 4 columns and some rows, and table 2 is having 3 columns and some rows. Table 3 is having some 3 columns and rows, right? So for example, I can call it as this this table 1. I can call it as sem1 result. Sem1 result. Okay, sem1 result. And next table 2 is nothing but I have sem2 result. Sem2 result. Okay, and table 3 is nothing but a sem3 result. Like that, for every student, I'll have a separate table. The table is going to give me the result of different semesters. For example, student database consists of different tables. In each and every table, I have different columns and rows. For example, sem1. So in sem1, what are the columns? In sem1, the columns are subjects. Whatever you studied in sem1, all the subjects will be the columns. And values, what are the values? Values are nothing but how many marks you got for that particular subject. That is nothing but a value. And similarly in sem2, whatever the subjects you studied, that is nothing but a column, and whatever the marks, okay, you obtained, that is nothing but a value. And similarly in SEM 3 and SEM 4. So if I talk about the Aadhaar website, or if I talk about Aadhaar database, in Aadhaar database, okay, we'll have multiple tables. Let's say a table with a state name. Okay, state name. For example, a table with the state name Andhra Pradesh, and one more table with the state name Telangana, and one more table with the state name Karnataka. So the database name is Aadhaar. This database, Aadhaar database, is a collection of different tables. So each and every table I can call it as a state name. Okay, again in that state name, I'll have so many records. Records means, for example, in Andhra table, I'll have, let's say, I'll have some 5 crore records. In Telangana table, let's say I have 4 crore records. Like that, it is a simply collection of a data only, right? So this is the hierarchy. Let me write it down. What is the hierarchy of this database? So database is the collection of tables. Table consists of rows and columns. Okay, row is also known as record. Column also known as attribute. So this is the terminology in database programming. What do you mean by row? What do you mean by column? And what do you mean by database? What do you mean by table? Okay. So let me explain some simple example. Example, student is the database name. Student database contains multiple tables like SEM1 result is a table. SEM2 result is a table. Okay, SEM3 result is a table. So like this. Okay, and so on. So now, if you see here, database name is student, and the student database is having multiple tables. Again, each and every table will have rows and columns. So here, what is row and what is column? Row is nothing but also we can call it as record. Okay, for example, if I consider one row, then I'm going to get the information of one student. Let me explain what do you mean by row or record. So for example, if I'm going to take this particular row, if I'm going to consider this particular row, okay, so this particular row. So here, what is this row? For example, I can write this. This is hall ticket number, and this is marks. Okay, or I can write this is S1, subject 1 marks, and this is subject 2 marks, and this is S3, subject 3 marks. So here, hall ticket number is, let's say, hall Hall ticket number is, let's say, some 100. Hall ticket number is 100. And subject 1 marks. Let's say subject 1 marks for the student is 40. And subject 2 marks for the student is 45. And subject 3 marks for the student is 50. So now this is nothing but a row, or also known as record. So what this is giving? This yellow colored box is nothing but known as a record or a row. Record or a row. What it is giving? This is giving the information about a student. Information about a student. Which student? Student hall ticket number is 100 in this example. Okay, like that each and every row is going to give, information about a particular student, right? Each and every row is going to give the information about a particular student. That is what we can call it as record. Record is nothing but simply a row or the information about a particular student or employee, or you can take any example, right? Okay, so and what about column? Column is nothing but, this is a column. This first row, you see here, first row, this is nothing but a column, right? So this is a column. Okay, what are the columns are there? Hall ticket number, subject 1 marks, subject 2 marks, subject 3 marks. So in hall ticket number is 1 column, subject 1 marks is 1 column, and subject 2 marks is other column, subject 3 marks are other column, right? So this student is having 4 columns. One column is hall ticket number, second column is subject 1, and third column is subject 2 and subject 3, right? So this is also known as column, or also known as attribute. Okay, so like this we have some other tables. For semester 2 also we'll have the column names like hall ticket number, subject 1, subject 2, like that, right? So for every student there is a hall ticket number, and there are marks for subject 1, marks for subject 2, marks for subject 3, right? So whenever you are going to enter any information about a particular student, for example, I want to enter some information about sem 1 result of a particular student, then that information will be stored in this table only, sem 1 table. I want to enter some information about sem 2, then the information of the sem 2 of the particular student will be stored in second table, sem 2. Okay, as I mentioned some example before this, if you are going to create your Gmail account, then you are going to fill all the details, right? You are going to enter your mobile number, email ID, name, first name, last name, date of birth, all this, where that all the information will be stored. All the information will be stored in a database. Database name is not, maybe like something like okay, some your username is the database, or they will give some database name, right? So here also database is nothing but where the collection of related tables are stored. So here all the information relating to student is stored in some place. That place what we can call it as a student database, right? So every table again will have rows and columns. This is a hierarchy. So first we need to access the database. If I want to, for example, I want to access this information. So what is this information? For example, I want to access this information. What is this information? Sem 1, in sem 1, what are the marks in subject 2 of a particular student? This is the question, right? I want to know the marks of a particular student in sem 1, and the subject name is S2. So how can I access this? How can I get this? Can I get these details directly? So we won't get the information directly because we need to follow some hierarchy. As I mentioned, the hierarchy. What is the hierarchy? Hierarchy is nothing but first we need to access the database. Once we need to access the database, then we'll have multiple tables. Okay, in multiple tables, we don't need to access all the tables. We need to have only some tables. I want to access only few tables. Okay, next in that few tables, okay, again I don't need to access all the students. If you see here in SEM1 table, I'll have multiple records are there. Let's say student hall ticket number 100, 200, 300, 400. But I don't want to access hall ticket number 200 student, 300 student, 400 student. I want to access only the hall ticket number of the student 100, right? So the hierarchy should be followed is nothing but I'll write down the hierarchy. If we want to access the information of a student, okay, first we need to connect to the database. First we need to connect it to the database. Okay, once we connected to the database, we'll see multiple tables. But among all the tables, we may access information of one table only. Again, in that table, we'll have multiple records. We'll access data of a particular student as per our requirement. So this is the hierarchy what we need to follow. In any database, the same hierarchy should be followed. Okay. In any database, this is the hierarchy we need to follow. First, we'll see multiple tables once we have our database. In that multiple tables, we don't need to access all the tables. Okay. For example, I want to access only SEM1 result of a particular student. Then I don't need to check SEM2 table, SEM3 table, because my question is how many marks a student is scored in SEM1 some max subject. SEM1 max subject. For the same student, I can have SEM2 result, SEM3 result, SEM4 result. But I don't need to access the SEM2, SEM3, SEM4 tables because it is not required. So that's why I can access only SEM1 table. In SEM1 table, again I'll see multiple records. Multiple students are there. Not only one student, right? Multiple students are there. So I can access only that student. Again, for that student, we'll have multiple subjects. Max subject is there, physics is there, English is there, chemistry is there. But what I need to access only mathematics. So this is the hierarchy should be followed. Okay. So anyway, we'll see programming part and some more examples of this database in tomorrow's session. But this is the generic idea. What do you mean by database programming? How the data will be stored? How the data will be accessed? What do you mean by database? What do you mean by table? What is a record? What is attribute? Okay, this is basic terminology about the database programming. Still, if you have any doubts, please let me know in the chat box. If you have any doubts, please let me know in the chat box. We don't have any doubts, so I'll stop here.